child labourers in countries like Bangladesh and in India, as well as police and prosecutors are fighting human trafficking in nations like Sri Lanka and Zambia, will receive support through a $7.8 million package. Britain's Interior Ministry and its Foreign Aid Department say that more than half of that cash will help several Commonwealth nations tackle child labour in industries including agriculture, construction and the garment sector. Now, the rest of the aid will be split between strengthening law enforcement and justice systems, as well as supporting tough new legislation in countries as diverse as Ghana, Nigeria and Pakistan. Britain is considered a leader in global efforts to combat modern slavery. It passed the Modern Slavery Act in 2015 in order to deal more effectively with traffickers. Now, do remember this entire week there's the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting that's taking place over in the UK. Let's get an update on developments so far. Jessica King joins us now live from London. Jessica, given that Brexit is barely a week, well, not a week, a year away really, for the United Kingdom, should we expect Her Majesty's government to be putting forward a trade deal of any sort at the Leaders' Summit, which starts tomorrow? And if so, what shape will that deal take?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think tomorrow at the Leaders' Summit, and in fact the whole week really has been about talking and negotiating and trying to set up some deals. And I think Britain, the UK, will want to be ready to sign on the dotted line when the UK officially leaves the EU, less than a year's time until the Brexit process is finalised. The UK government has been referring this whole week to old friends of the Commonwealth, so they will definitely be looking to reinvigorate some of those relationships and some of those trade alliances, and with the more solid and stable relationships try and develop those partnerships as well. The International Trade Secretary here in the UK, Liam Fox, is predicting that trade between Commonwealth countries will rise to about $700 billion by 2020. It currently stands at around $560 billion. So it certainly seems like there is room for growth and room for trade deals to be made, particularly with India. I think the UK, that is a very attractive market to them. It's the fastest growing economy, but also Africa and Asia have a lot of potential too to the UK, but also vice versa. At the African Business Leaders Roundtable earlier on today, there was a lot of talk about how to improve growth and trade deals between the African countries, but also looking outward to the UK and other Commonwealth countries. They want to give off the impression and want to show the fact that Africa is open for business. So a lot of talks, a lot of negotiating, a lot of handshakes, and I think the proof will be whether any of those negotiations actually come into fruition after Brexit.
Indeed. So let's get down to the numbers here, because the fact is there is no Commonwealth free trade bloc, and less than 10% of the UK's exports actually do end up among the members of this Commonwealth group as a whole. So from the UK's perspective, really, what's the idea of trying to boost trade flows with these countries through the Commonwealth when it already has bilateral trading relationships anyway with a lot of them?
Yes, you're absolutely right. It is a very small percentage, and actually last year almost half of Britain's exports were with the other 27 EU countries. So it is a very small percentage to the Commonwealth, and I think critics are saying here that actually the Commonwealth can never match the EU as a trading partner. But I think really that is why the UK is sort of pitching and negotiating quite aggressively. They want to set out their stall, and they don't want to miss out on opportunities with the 53 other countries that make up the Commonwealth. But this is a very difficult time for the UK. They have difficult negotiations ahead of them with Brexit, and reality is that it may not be a brilliant outcome for them as they take on these Brexit negotiations. So I think the Commonwealth, in some people's mind, perhaps is being viewed as a new trade frontier. But Cyril Ramaphosa, the South African president, said at a banquet here last night that actually you come here to turn contact into contract. So this is very much about meeting, about making those connections, having those long business lunches, lots of handshakes, and trying to turn those connections into hard deals.
Indeed, we'll see how this plays out. Jessica King in London, thank you very much for your time.